What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 18. We're starting today's episode by seeing that Lewis Hall is going to go to Bournemouth. I really like that. We negotiated a deal with the Cherries in the last episode, and he is going to go back to the Vitality for 2.5 mil. He spent a loan spell out there last year at Bournemouth, so I really like that for the realism. Just spent a year at Bournemouth, and now he's going to go back there permanently as well, so I love that for the realism. And congrats to the Cherries as well for last week, of course, securing their promotion back to the Premier League after their big win against Nottingham Forest. And you would have seen as well, Fikayo Tomori bruised his leg in our victory over Everton in the last game, the last episode. I didn't see it happen. I didn't see that happen during the game. And it's so funny because I looked over the footage and I was looking for it after I saw that email there. I went back to my computer and I was like, where was that injury? And I couldn't find it. I don't know where he bruised his leg, possibly getting on the team bus, I don't know, but even so, Tomori out for 8 days with a bruised leg, and he'll miss this game in midweek, but he was going to play anyway, and then against Watford as well in a battle between two of the teams in the top four to start the season off in the Premier League. So yeah, first game of today's episode on the back of our big win at Goodison Park by 4-2, ending a run of 3 straight draws in all competitions. The Borough, the Championship side, EFL Cup last 32. Fielded a weakened side for the game and won it comfortably. 2-0 the final score. Great to get another clean sheet, just our second of the season as well, as Tammy bagged a brace. We've seen Lautaro off to a red-hot start this season, 4 goals in 5 games. So Tammy, hate to say it, but is probably going to be on the bench this season, playing most of our cup and a few midweek games here and there. But it's good to know he'll still get us the goals when we require and call upon him. Yeah, Abraham with a brace sends us through to the last 16 of the EFL Cup we got to last season. This year we'll be taking on the Hornets, Watford, our very next opponents today at Stamford Bridge. And Roy Hodgson's side this year have made a great start to the season in the game as well. They're in the top 4 right now. And speaking of the number 4, well, heading into the game, you would have seen it. I decided to make a big change. 3 draws in a row, and yes, back-to-back wins was nice, but I decided to make an alteration with the formation, and this is something I very rarely do. When I join a new club or I take over a team, I tend to play the way they do in real life, stick with the formation they've got in the game, and try my best to adapt to it. And the 5-2-3 for the most part works pretty well. I mean, we won a domestic dub with it last year, but I was just thinking this season with a little bit of a sluggish start, stumbling out of the blocks a little bit in our title defense year, maybe we should change formation and have an alternate formation, if you will, because lots of clubs operate that way. You know, very few clubs will play the same system, you know, the whole season, game after game, and not even change it a little bit. I thought, you know what? Let's just alter it for a game and see what happens. Watford, the following game, on the back of back-to-back victories, and taking on the high-flying Hornets here, I decided to go 4-3-3 holding for the game. And what I do is I'll have Declan Rice as the anchor man as part of a midfield trio, but of course keep the front 3 as the same. And well, it's safe to say, 18 minutes in, this guy's back to his best after his concussion. Is he feeling that knock now? I don't think so. 2 goals in a few minutes for Captain America as Pulisic puts us 3-0 up, 17 minutes in. It's an amazing ball by Cucurella, by the way. That was absolutely glorious. And we are 3 goals to the good against Hornets inside the first 20 minutes. And I was thinking, well, this might well prove to be a masterstroke. Okay, 5-2-3. We're not going to abandon it. We'll still have it as our primary system. I was looking for a backup formation to use when I'm not playing the best with my current tactic. It's safe to say I think I don't need to do much experimenting for this one. I think it's surefire going to be my alternate system, because half an hour in, we turned a 3-goal lead into a 4-1. Kai Havertz off to a great start this season, having a great little mini run of form. He gets his 3rd goal in the Premier League, scored a brace at Goodison, and then gets a goal here to make it 4. And then a few minutes later, I mean, we just kept on coming. And what I really liked in this team as well is that we were playing the 4-3-3. But Declan Rice was our anchor man. And I don't know whether you'll notice this in the gameplay, but I was trying to operate this way. I had Rice slightly deeper in the 4-3-3 as our anchor man. And what I was doing is I was occasionally dropping him into our back 5 to pick up the ball and then spread it forward. That's exactly what happened for our goal here, our 5th one in the 38th minute. Rice collects the ball from deep as part of our defence, basically. Starts to move off, and eventually Reece James gets his 1st of the season attacking down the right to make it 5. 5. And I think that's the whole point with this system. It's not actually too dissimilar to the current system we play in the 5-2-3, because Rice is sitting deeper. He basically is like a more advanced centre half. Does that make sense? Probably not, but it's like he's sitting very deep as part of the midfield duo. In this game, we have Billy Gilmour and Mason Mount as part of Declan Rice and the midfield trio, but Rice was sitting a lot deeper, and therefore you'll see, as you'll see in this highlight here, he's basically just ahead of the back four. So it basically is a 5-2-3, but Rice is just a little bit further forward, if you will. And we've also got another CM there in Billy Gilmour in the in face of Billy Gilmour in this game here to help us have a little bit more creativity when going forward as well. So yeah, we were leading by 6 after Kai bagged his brace in the game with 5 minutes to go, trying to see out the clean sheet as well. Great defending there, kept us still leading by 6, and really it should have been 7. Lautaro going through one-on-one. I loved it in the game as well. We'd scored 6 goals, yet my new £85 million striker couldn't even get one of them. Hits the post towards the end of the game, and that's how it finished. Final score at the Bridge, Chelsea 6, Watford 0. What a win that was. Probably my best and certainly biggest win as Chelsea manager. And yeah, it's safe to say I don't need to do much experimenting when it comes down to finding a new tactic for me. I think the 4-3-3 holding formation is going to work pretty well as an alternate formation. So we played a 5-2-3 primarily, and I'll keep it as my primary tactic, but the 4-3-3 holding will be my alternate. So when I'm not playing my best or I'm having a shaky run of form, I think switching formation to that 4-3-3 is going to be really beneficial. And like I mentioned, because of the fact that Rice sits so deep in that formation as well, it kind of feels like the 5-2-3. You know, we had Gilmour starting alongside Mason Mount in that game, so we had a little bit more creativity through the middle, and Rice was protecting the back four. Sorry, I really like that. I think that system works really well. It's not too dissimilar to the 5-2-3, but it just gives us a little bit more freedom when going forward and a little bit more creativity through the middle of the park, because normally in the system we play here, like in this game here against Shakhtar Donetsk, it's either Kante or Rice who basically just sits there as the anchor man, and Mason Mount has got to do literally everything, which, let's be honest here, Mason Mount is certainly capable of doing, but it's a lot to put on one player who doesn't really have any support in the actual heart of the midfield. Whereas when we play the 4-3-3, let's say hypothetically it's Declan Rice sitting deeper, Mount will have someone alongside him, like in that game there against Watford, like Billy Gilmour, to take a little bit of the load off. So I think that's going to work really well as an alternate system. Anyway, second game of today's episode on the back of the win there, Shakhtar Donetsk away in Ukraine. And by the way, you would have seen pre-game, I showed you some shots of the stadium here. As you know, many of you know this, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes down to architecture. I love stadiums, like they're just so glorious, and I've obviously been to so many iconic ones over my years as a football fan, but one stadium which is my absolute all-time favourite in FIFA, and this is my all-time favourite stadium in FIFA, is this one here. It's the Donbass Arena, which unfortunately is actually not where Shakhtar Donetsk play in real life because of the conflict in Donbass many years ago. This predates the current war we have in Ukraine. The stadium got damaged and Shakhtar had to move and play a different stadium. So the Donbass Arena has actually been damaged in real life and is not currently functional and in operation, which is such a shame because it's a glorious looking stadium aesthetically. Both the interior and the exterior and the surrounding area of the Donbass Arena is absolutely glorious. If you get a chance after you watch this video, definitely go check it out on Google Images. It's a really aesthetically pleasing ground, and I'm so glad it's still in FIFA, even though it's not being used in real life. It's a wonderful stadium to look at, again, both exteriorly, from the exterior and the interior as well. It's a brilliant stadium, but we got the win there by 1-0. Callum Hudson-Odoi's first of the season gives us the win, and that's our first win as Champions League manager as well. And, you know, I mentioned a moment ago there is, look at this, Manchester City putting in a massive bid of just shy of 200 million for Armando Broja. Yeah, the reason why I haven't bought this guy back is because, well, you know, I can't afford him, basically. He's just a complete striker in this game. If Man City get him, goodness gracious me, they are going to be hard to stop, even harder than they are right now. And speaking of Man City, yeah, you would have seen it heading into our fourth and final game of today's episode. Wolverhampton Wanderers away at Molineux in the Champions League this year. They bought De Vrij of us. They were looking for some Champions League experience, and they've got it. Marco Asensio is there, and, you know, casually as well, Kevin De Bruyne is playing for the middle for Bruno Elijah's side. Yep, very interesting indeed. But, sorry, yeah, I forgot on my point. Let's just move on. So, yeah, following game was Wolves away at Molineux. And you would have seen for the game as well, I played the 4-3-3 holding again because we thrashed Watford by 6-0. And I was thinking, well, let's see if we can repeat it away from home against what is now a Champions League standard team. Well, 10 minutes in, we were behind, and I was thinking maybe it was a one-off, perhaps. Marco Asensio fires in the opener, but heading into the game, it was the same sort of setup as the one against Watford, where we had Declan Rice sitting much deeper, protecting the back four, basically as a centre-half who's just a little bit phased further forward. And we had Kefren Thuram starting alongside Mason Mount as well. And it was Thuram who got the assist for the opening goal as well. Lautaro Martinez gets goal number 5 in the Premier League this season. And I really hope it shows in the gameplay and the highlights I've included here. But what really was showing in this game was the benefit of having another CM to play alongside Mason Mount through the heart. Because Thuram got the assist for our first goal. And he won the ball back for our second as well. Mason Mount can't do everything in this team, and that's why at times I think my 5-2-3 asymmetrical gets exposed because, you know, Rice or Kante, whoever sits deeper, just sort of is the anchor man, protects the back five, and that's it. Whereas Mason Mount, he's got to do everything. Both go forward and get the goals and the assists and the creativity, and also help on the defensive end at times as well, which, you know, he can't do everything. So having another CM there, like in this game it was Thuram, in the Watford game it was Billy Gilmore, means that both defensively he can provide some cover for Mason and also Declan as well, and also do a little bit more when going forward, like in the case for our first goal, getting the assist for Martinez. After the restart, Pulisic made it 3-1 after Martinez bagged his brace right before the break, and 66 minutes in, we will get our fourth goal. It was Mount getting forward here, getting on the end of a Lautaro Martinez through ball and making it 4-1, and I was thinking, okay, alright, yep, we might have trailed early to Marco Asensio, but there's no doubt about it. This system to me seems like it's going to work better than the 5-2-3, and I don't want to change to 5-2-3 as my primary tactic because obviously, you know, it's the way Chelsea play in real life and I want to keep it that way, but I do feel as though in the games where I'm not playing very well, or in the times where I'm not playing very well, if I do need to change things up, change formation, change system, this 4-3-3 seems like it's going to work perfectly for this Chelsea team. Kefren Thuram in this game, once again proving my point, gets another assist, his second of the game, to make it 5-1, really relieving the pressure on Mason Mount in this game and the workload too. And with 10 minutes to go, we make it 6. Yep, scored 6 against the Hornets and 6 against Wolves as well. Across the middle from Kai, picks out Christian, second of the game for the American. We're 6-1 up and we just kept going. 6 minutes to go, still leading by 5, looking for a 7th. Jong Sang being off the bench, rolls through Pulisic, looking for a hat-trick in behind Wolves' backline, but rolls it across, and who's there? Well, I talked about the importance of having someone to play alongside Mason Mount in a 4-3-3 with Rice being the anchor man. He sort of ran the show in the midfield in this game. Kefren Thuram, both on the defensive end and the offensive end. He is going to be the perfect partner alongside Mason Mount whenever I play the 4-3-3. Because defensively, he can do that. Passing, creativity, he's got it out in abundance. And he chipped in with his first goal of the season as well. He needed in. He slipped over and needed in to make it 7. Yep, no doubt about it. We'll stick with a 5-2-3 as our primary tactic. But after scoring 13... I'm going to say that again, 13 goals in 2 games. I think the 4-3-3 holding is definitely something I will be switching to quite a lot this season when I need to change things up and look for something a little bit different. Big win there against Wolves, and we're back in form after a little shaky run of form, and for our front three as well. How about this? Lautaro Martinez, Kai Havertz and Christian Pulisic. We scored 25 goals this season and our front three have been largely responsible for it. We're now top of the table, 2 points clear of the Reds and the Hornets as well, and the only undefeated side in the Premier League. Safe to say, after a mini struggling patch of form, we're back to our best and proving our worth as the best team in England. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.